Okay, just to put into context as well about how much can be seen. So behind me, or behind the camera there is, there's just dense woodland. There's a pathway, but it's quite a way off. To get to the camp now, you've really got to cut your way through the woods quite a bit. During the day it's easy enough to do, but you know, once the light goes, it's really quite challenging. You're not going to get through there without a head torch and making an absolute racket. So this is what you see as you come up to camp from the other end of the woodland as well. I think the tent does blend in really, really well with this darker area that I'm in. If you was in the open, obviously you'd be wide open there. It's not a tent for fields if you're trying to be stealthy, but it is a good tent for setting up at night because it's quite dark. Let's be fair to it, it's a very dark tent. But also, when you have your light on inside, it's really obvious. So I'll be showing you that a little bit later as well. With the light on inside the tent, it glows like a beacon. So it'll be red lights once the sun's gone down if I'm trying to stay stealthy, or if I feel there's anyone around, it'll be red lights. Brilliant. Let's get a kettle on. I'm really not sure how much light the camera picks up. The sun's starting to go down. It's now just 8 o'clock. I haven't set up bed yet. I've put the kettle on for a brew, and I won't set up the bed until the last thing. I can actually do that when I go to bed. Like, I'll pump up the airbed in a minute, and then the rest of it I won't get out for some time. It's getting to that point of the night where I'm more alert, more aware of the noises from the animals and the wind. There's a little bit of road noise still, just a wee bit, but I'm more aware of the animals, the breaking of sticks, and this is when the anxiety of wild camping starts to kick in for a lot of people. Once it goes dark, you know, no one's coming. If you can see a light, then you know they're probably quite far away. Once you start to see a light coming towards you, no one's going to be walking in the dark. It's that point where it's just before sunset and you start to get that anxiety, and that's completely normal. So if you're at that stage, this is the opportunity, this is the time to start trying to relax a bit more. Don't do a lot. If you've already set up, try not to do much. Just sort of sit back, listen, watch, and try and relax. Because once it goes dark, you're on your own and you can do what you like. You can have your fire. Because you'll see a light way before you hear the noises. So if you hear a noise with no light, it's probably just a badger. Alright, so yeah, I'm just going to sit back and chill for a bit and just let the sun go down before I start putting my fire together. Part of my leave no trace, part of my wild camping ideology, if I could use that word, is that I try and bring everything into the woods that I need, so I don't take anything from the woods as well. So I brought my own firewood. I've got enough for the evening. I'm not going to have a massive fire, it's quite warm. I'm not going to have a huge fire. So I've got enough here to cook my breakfast on in the morning. I'm going to be using my stove to cook my evening meal. I'm just having a boil in the bag style meal. And then tomorrow morning I'm actually going to cook myself some bacon sandwiches, but I'm going to do it on a fire. Once the morning comes, you're not caught camping. The day's over, your night's over, and you're going to go home anyway. So if the ranger comes at 6 o'clock in the morning and you're cooking a bacon sandwich, good for you. You're no longer wild camping. You're just eating breakfast in the woods at 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I bring my own firewood, and I try not to take any from the woodland. If I do take some, I take very little. So that might be something for you to think about as well when you're coming into the woods. Bring nothing, take nothing. And it just makes you more responsible. If someone comes along now, if a ranger comes along, and questions you, why are you in the woods, what are you doing? Oh, I'm having a wild camp. I brought my own wood. I don't have a fire. I don't take from the land. Unless I really, really need to. It just kind of creates an idea of professionalism as well. You don't look like the kind of scally that's going to pull trees down and hack trees up. Try and look responsible. If you look the part, you get treated completely differently than if you turn up with your plastic bags and your chuck away barbecues, and all the rest of it. Look like you belong, and you generally don't run into any bother. Awesome. I'm going to have this brew and I'll waffle a bit later on. Thanks. Now I know the camera can't see a lot. It's not particularly dark, but it looks a lot darker on the camera, so you have to excuse me. So for tea, I've got a bit of a lazy one. I got a tin of meatballs from Lidl's, and I got a packet of pre-cooked pasta in a sauce from Lidl's as well. And I've mixed them all together and I put them in one of those Mylar bags that you get boiling the bag food in. You can buy the Mylar bags empty and you just put your own meals in. So it's a real lazy one, so I've actually got it in the cup now and I'm just bringing that up to heat. You can eat it cold, thankfully, but obviously I prefer my food nice and hot. I'm not a fan of cold food, if I'm honest with you. And I've also got the fire prepped as well, ready to light when it gets a bit darker. But all I can hear now is just like noises of different animals, and there's very little road noise. I haven't heard an aeroplane for a while. So that level of fear and anxiety is, it's really quite high now. And I don't know why I do it to myself. I don't know why I worry so much. The only person in the woods is me, and I'm worried about someone being in the woods. So if anyone else is in the woods, they're probably as worried as I am about someone else being in the woods. So it's absolutely crazy. It makes no sense. And I'm surrounded by weapons. I've got an axe, and I've got 3 knives of different variations, and I can run really fast. So if a crazy man does come into the woods, I can either stand and fight with my axe, or just leg it and leave my stuff behind. But I do think that's one of the biggest fears with wild camping. A lot of people talk about wild camping like it's like, just go out, camp, dude, just like be free with one and nature. But it's more than that. It is more than that. If you're in an area where you're probably not supposed to camp, hence why it's wild camping, especially woodland camping, unless you're on Dartmoor, you're probably not supposed to be there. There is a level of anxiety, so I think it's something you need to work through on your own, or maybe go out with a friend to start with. At least you've got someone to chat to through the night. But when you're on your own, there is definitely a level of anxiety. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now, and I might not come back until I get the fire on. At least I have a bit of light on the camera, because I know it's getting quite dark. I've just looked at the screen. Awesome. So I'm going to enjoy my meal and just enjoy this strange peace and quiet.